and welcome to our latest episode of Security Noise, a Rootin' Tootin' good time at Wild West Hackin Fest. I'm your host, Geoff Walton. I lead our application security practice here at TrustedSec, and I'm the host of the podcast. I am, of course, joined by Skyler Tuter and Kelsey Segrue, who both went to the Kaun and were booth babes and bros. So I will let them share a little bit about their experience there.
So was I the booth babe? Wasn't sure who you were talking about there. So Kelsey and I worked with our some people on our sales team working the booth at Wild West Hackin Fest, and made a lot of great contacts, met some of our actual clients, and made some potential new client stuff. But I think some of the more exciting stuff was getting to see all of the InfoSec heavy hitters there, and getting to talk to them, meet them, and then listen to their talks. And just have a really good, or as you said, Geoff, a rootin' tootin' good time. Just hanging out with all the InfoSec folks. Kelsey, what about you?
Yeah, I mean, it was the first time I'd been to Wild West Hackin Fest, so great time. I think probably the best conference I've been to. It felt like everyone really connected, and you saw the same people, and you had met up with people multiple times. You didn't just meet someone once and never see them again. It was really great to, get to know everyone, and I had a great time. I thought it was just an awesome conference.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad that you both enjoyed it. Before we get into more of the conference and some of what you learned and saw there, we do have a couple of announcements. First, of course, if you want to join the show and contribute ideas, we do have our own Discord channel. You can go to discord.gg/TrustedSec to join. Additionally, this week in InfoSec, we've got WordPress issues. So if you have a WordPress site, you might want to take a look. There are a whole bunch of new plugins out there that appear to be legitimate, but are in fact information stealing plugins. So now is a good time to go through your plugin list and check to make sure that nothing has been added lately that you didn't know about. And if you did add something lately, give it a little bit of extra vetting. And with that, I will turn it back over to Skyler to share a little bit about at least one of the talks he attended.
Yeah, so I was actually getting to talk to Travis Kaun, who's at TrustedSec, who gave a talk on one of the tracks there. And we're supposed to interview also Mike Felch, who I believe had some involvement in the badges for the conference. Is that right?
Yeah, he did.
And unfortunately, he was affected by the hurricane that came through Florida and up the East Coast. And so his flights were canceled and he was unable to make it. So I didn't get to talk to him, but I was able to get an interview with Travis. And I was able to record it, brought my equipment with me. So if you guys will grant me about 10 minutes here, I'll show everybody my interview with Travis.
Hey everybody, I'm here live at Wild West Hackin Fest, and today I've got Travis Kaun, who just gave a talk in track 2. You want to tell me a little bit about what you're doing?
Yeah, so I gave a talk on offensive lab environments, quote, without the suck. And so the whole premise of this talk was, it was derived from ideas from my team. And how I started was, said when I joined their target operations team, I came from our force team where we're doing traditional external and internal pen tests, right, where we deployed a box and you got about a week or so to kind of fire off on a network. Right. Moving to target ops in the red team, clients are maybe a little bit more mature. They might be looking for more an evasive or a stealth approach. Yeah. And oftentimes you're delivering a payload and you need to be right the first time you deliver with the client, as not to tip your hand, right, so they can detect you. So with that, when I came on the team, I'm like, I got to get a lab environment built. And I started asking team members, what's it going to take to build a lab environment? And not only what's it going to take to build it, how can I make this more efficient? How can I automate the process of building it? And that's really what the talk today was about, is just automating it using some tooling and techniques.
Oh, that's really cool. So let's get into automation. Tell me a little bit more about how you pulled that off.
Yeah, so there's a lot of things out there that currently exist. I know some of the guys at Spectre Ops are real big with Ludus and using SCCM and like a YAML configuration to build this stuff. We took a different approach. I think this was one of my coworkers, Sam Link, had recommended a tool called Automated Labs. And the thing with automated labs is it runs on Windows. I'm not a big Windows user, so running a Hyper-V on Windows was honestly a little new to me. I'm like, all right, we'll try it. And what I found is automated labs is it's a Windows PowerShell module you install. And then once you got automated labs installed, like the PowerShell module, you really can go online on Automated Labs homepage and find different, what I call recipes. So think of Automated Labs as the kitchen, and recipes are what you brew or cook within the kitchen, right? Okay. And so you can find simple recipes like a single workstation that has Office installed that's internet connected. Yeah. Great for like burner machines. Say if you got like a client or you find a piece of software on an external and you're like, I need to load that software onto a machine, but I don't want it tied to any of my personal information or any knowledge. It's like a burnable machine. It spins up in like 2 minutes using Automated Labs recipe. Okay. Or it can get more complex. Like say if you want to do like a whole SCCM environment and test like some of the newest SCCM techniques, you can build that, or like Active Directory certificate services. Yeah. You can build it, and within like an hour or two, it's going to push out a domain controller, a certificate authority, workstations that are domain joined. You can test, you can do what you need to, and really without the pain of manually building and walking through the promotions of domain controllers and all that stuff. It makes it a lot easier. So within hours, you can be up and cooking.
That is like fantastic, because I remember when I was spinning up just virtual environments for tests, for labs, or whatever. And yeah, I mean, I would probably spend 2 or 3 days just setting it up, troubleshooting, trying to get the domain controllers to actually do what they're supposed to do. So how long did it take you to like bring everything to like full realization, like from like when you had the idea to development and like the actual final polished product?
So a lot of the building blocks were already there. Like Automated Labs is out there, I was able to pull it down. And then I worked with some coworkers to kind of piece together a recipe and be simple recipes, things like a payload lab where we could simply spin up machines, test payloads, make sure they're going to be successful. Sure. And so my coworker Hans helped me build that. And really, you can start small building blocks. I mean, probably a day to really kind of foresee how this is going to work. And then over the course of the next, few engagements I was going over, I kept adding a little bit more complexity, taking things in, putting things out, or building other services and whatnot. So it was really kind of like an evolution, but really you can get up and cooking within like an hour now with all the recipes that are out there. But and then you can add the complexity as you need to. So it's kind of like a learn through the process.
That's really cool. So when you mention these recipes, is it kind of plug and play where you can just kind of like pull in and pull out modules as you need to?
Yep. So a lot of them out there, like you can say, okay, I want a domain controller and I want an SCCM server, and then you give certain based on each machine, you give it a role. So maybe it's a root DC, maybe it's a file server, maybe it's a configuration manager. So it's pretty easy, and they got all of these post-installation scripts that make it all possible. And then again, other projects out there exist, like one of which is called Bad Lab, or Automated Bad Blood, I believe, by 2 individuals, David Prow and SpyroSec. And those guys have created an environment that will actually populate a domain with hundreds of thousands of users, objects, groups, policies, and a lot of like MITRE's TTPs already baked in. So like if you want to do Kerberosing, you can test against it. If you want to do like attacks against services like LDAP or SMB without signing protocols, you can attack that. And they really they did a lot of the legwork, so I can just take those existing recipes, modify them as I see fit, and then have a playground to play in.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, I think what you said a minute ago is like all development professionals, we all stand on the people that came before us and then just try to keep building and make things better. So, I mean, this is really awesome. Well, I mean, that's really cool. So, what would you say, or who is the target user? I don't want to say audience, but like who's going to get the most benefit out of this?
Yeah. So in my talk today, I asked, show of hands, are you red team? Are you blue team? And it was about a 60-40 split of blue versus red, but also students. So the whole premise of this is being able to spin up these labs real quick that you can spin up, spin down with just quickness and ease. So imagine if you're a blue teamer and you see all these attacks coming out against like SCCM or ADCS, and you want to know like, well, A, how are they pulled off and what indicators do they leave so we can detect this stuff? Perfect for blue teamers. That way you don't have to also go against your production environment and risk screwing something up and then explain to IT why they detected an attack on it. That said, for red teamers, the saying is red team only has to be right once, right? I don't agree with that statement, but at the same time, this is a great way. So when when you go after an environment, you can key it to a domain that matches the client. You can make sure your attacks are going to be pulled off the way they want to. You're not fat fingering keystrokes and whatnot. You can really kind of launch it here and then copy and paste it over here and pull off the attack. And then lastly, I think the big benefit of this would be for a student. Now, back when I was in school, back in the early 2000s, it was like you had to get a new virtual machine or a new machine up, like a domain controller. I'd pull out a hard drive, a physical hard drive, put a new one in, that was my DC. But now, for under $300, you can get these micro PCs like Nooks and whatnot. You can build hypervisor on it. You can install automated labs and have these environments spinning down within hours. So, say if you're at school learning about, DHCP, you can spin up a DHCP server in a lab in a matter of minutes. If you're an offensive student, you can attack AD6. You can really attack true AD environments with ease using evaluation licenses. So you don't need like a MSDN or a paid-for license. You can use evaluation licenses and really attack the same things you're going to be seeing in the real world.
Okay.
I think that's huge. So whether you're a professional, seasoned consultant, or a student, there's a use case for you.
That's fantastic. So if somebody wants to check this out, how can they get in touch with you, and how can they get a hold of this?
Yeah, so prior this past spring, we released a blog article. If you look for offensive lab environments without the suck for TrustedSec blog, you'll find it there. My information's on there. I'm at Twitter at W9HAX. You can reach out on Discord. Really just reach out to anyone in TrustedSec in general and say, hey, how do I find more about this? But that will link you to all the recipes I had mentioned. And a lot of that has changed over time. So just reach out. We'll get you in touch. And I'd be really curious to see if you guys have any success with it. I'd like to hear the wins as far, and also like, hey, if you run into any issues, let us know.
Yep, the Discord is a great resource where people can provide us feedback, and then we always just have whoever releases stuff, we have a channel dedicated to them. So look out for the channel if you're on the Discord, and reach out to Travis if you have any questions. Travis, thank you very much.
Yeah,
appreciate it.
Well, that was really cool. Thank you for sharing that with us. Skyler?
Yeah, no, it was great to talk to him about what he was doing, and then the actual like implications, or rather, how it can be applied in a business. So that was really fun. Kelsey, you got to a couple of other talks that I didn't get to. You want to talk about those?
Yeah, I went to a really interesting talk by, and I don't remember his name, but his @ was BSD Bandit. It was a GraphQL talk, and he introduced a couple GraphQL like command line tools that I'd never heard of, and really, really interesting stuff. We see more and more GraphQL every day. So it was a really great presentation, and I was able to get a lot out of it, and was able to check out his slides as well. That was a great one. I went to a soldering class, and I've never soldered before in my life, so that was really interesting.
How'd you do?
Good. I have it. You want to see?
Yeah.
Come here. I did a decent job.
Yeah,
And they said my
looks like
soldering
some nice
was pretty
work.
good. I'm pretty proud.
You should be. For a beginner, especially. I mean, that looks good. I can't do that well myself half the time. So
it was really, I've never done anything like that before, and it's totally new for me. So awesome opportunity.
Nice. Yeah, that was a clean job. It looks like it was Charles Shearer or Shire. I'm not sure if that was the right individual there. I think trying to look
Charles sounds right. Yeah.
Yeah, I was trying to look up his Wild West Hackin Fest talk, but I'm wondering if they haven't posted it yet, at least as of this recording.
Yeah, I don't think so. I think it takes a little while.
Gotcha. All right.
Well, what were some of the new techniques that you particularly pulled out of that talk, Kelsey?
So there were a couple new tools, and let me see if I can pull one of them up. GraphQL Voyager. That was a new tool to me. That had a ton of introspection mapping and all kinds of information on how the queries are structured. I'm definitely going to be getting a lot of use out of that. I know Kurt, who from TrustedSec, also went to that talk, and I was watching him jot down notes as well. I think we both enjoyed it.
Great. So new tools and new ideas. Somebody did say earlier in the show, Mike Felch was involved in the badges. Now, I know DEF CON is legendary for its badges. I have never been to Wild West Hackin Fest myself. Do they do the whole electronic badge thing? Or tell us about that.
Oh, yeah.
Here for your viewing, I have mine. My screen fell off, but yeah.
My kids ripped mine off by accident, and they ripped out the actual housing that was soldered to the thing. So I've got to refix that.
No.
So Kelsey, I might have to come to you for some.
Well, you know
soldering
who
tips.
can solder for it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Better off sending it to Rob, I think.
There you go. But yeah, so the badges are really cool, and you know it might be awesome to have Mike on maybe a mini-sode or something, so he can kind of demo them fully. But like last year, the badges were really cool because they had kind of like a puzzle built into them, and it can actually connected with the like one of the servers at the event. And so as you're going to booths and you're going to other people and you're kind of like scanning your badge and exchanging, you know, your badge info and stuff, you can just kind of like level up in rank. And so it was more of kind of a not necessarily seek and find, but every booth had a totem. And so they encourage you to like go to every booth, scan your badge, and as you scan, the more you scanned, the more, you know, points you got on your card. And then once your badge got to a certain level, it would change colors, and that kind of let the volunteers or the admins know what level you were. And they did the same thing this year, and every year there's a new element to it. And this year it had Kelsey, you want to show it up real quick again?
Yeah.
So it was all kind of UFO cowboy themed here, and the spaceship there you see has 8 lights on it. And I won't give a lot of the stuff away, but you know, you got to look at those 8 lights. Yeah, they all kind of flash in a sequence. So whatever you want to do with that octet of lights, you know, you might be able to figure something out there. And then one hint that we did get from Mike, but that's as far as we got, was to check the firmware. So you could actually plug your badge into a computer, access the firmware, and, you know, get some hints there and see what you can do. So, but it was. Go ahead.
What was displayed on these screens that you guys both managed to lose again?
It's just
We
stats.
had a little username, and also as people went around and scanned from all the different vendor booths, a little like scoreboard for
Okay,
how
so
many
that
vendors.
was the score Skyler was talking about. Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah,
I'm
this one
following
was kind of an
now.
improvement. Yeah, this year there was an improvement because it had an LCD screen that actually like gave you your stats instead of needing to go to a website to kind of like look at your colors and how many lights you had lit up to see like what your score was. Like this will tell you like, oh, I got so many, you know, bounties, because that was kind of the theme of the badges, was you were a bounty hunter and you had to go collect all these bounties. So, but yeah, it was pretty cool to see how different people approached accessing or analyzing the badges themselves.
Fun stuff.
Oh yeah.
All right. Well, to wrap the show up then today, why don't you guys share, I guess, the most fun part of it for each of you? I think would be a great way to conclude here.
Kelsey, I'll let you go first.
I mean, we had so many TrustedSec people there that it was sort of like a little TrustedSec reunion. It was really great to spend time with everyone. Outside of the conference, we went on a ghost tour together. Some of us went to Mount Rushmore, and we have a great photo of us in front of Mount Rushmore. And yeah, it was just a really great time to connect with everyone. I met some great people from Black Hills and Wolf Security and all kinds of people coming up to the booth and chatting with us. And a great time all around.
Nice.
Yeah.
Skyler.
Yeah, I didn't get to go to the ghost tour, but I really wanted to. But I had family duty called, so I had to come home on time. But yeah, so some of my favorite things to do was just kind of like walking around Deadwood for one. Like it's just a fantastic, you know, beautiful, just little mining town, and getting to interact with TrustedSec people that you haven't seen, but also getting to just kind of hang out with InfoSec people that you know. We're all on Twitter or X it or whatever it is now, and we have our InfoSec online celebrities, and getting to kind of just hang out with them just because we're all hackers, pen testers, InfoSec, you know, professionals. It's really cool. And then one of the cool things that I got to do was I was elected to be the presenter for our booth's prize giveaway. And that was actually done during the closing ceremonies. So after, you know, John gave his closeout ceremonies, he would call each of the vendors up to give away their prize. And when I got on stage, you know, we were talking about the prize a little bit and about, you know, what I was doing at TrustedSec. And then, you know, John was kind of introducing TrustedSec to those that, may not have been aware. And then while he was talking, Dave Kennedy snuck up behind him on stage and just grabbed him and everything, surprised him. And so they got to stay on stage the whole time while I gave the prize away. And that was really fun. Just because I'm standing on stage in front of, hundreds of InfoSec professionals with my CEO and John Strand. And it's just one of those, I should not be on this stage. I'm not worthy enough, to be up there with these heavy hitters. But it was
a
really
street
fun.
cred moment.
Yeah. So, but that was really fun. And that was one of the cooler things I got to do. But ultimately, I just love being a booth babe, as you called it, getting to just meet everybody. We actually met a good handful of people that are on our Discord server. And, we had not met in, real life. There were a few people from our Discord that I did get to meet again this year. But
feel free to name drop.
Yeah, I'll shout out to that guy who swung by and just kind of hung out with us a bunch. It was just a really good time. Like Kelsey said, good time had by all.
Excellent. Well, I want to thank Kelsey for being our guest today, and Skyler for being our producer, of course, and always making the show great, as well as being a pseudo guest today. And I also want to thank all of you for watching and listening. Security Noise is a production of TrustedSec LLC. If you or your organization have questions or needs with information security, go to www.trustedsec.com. We'll see you next time.